Found one. All right, guys. Well, another piece to our Batmobile puzzle. I don't know. We've got it. We've got it bag secured in the back. Let's see what we can build out of this thing. I might be able to get this thing out, but I'm gonna have to do some cutting on this thing before I get it out of there because I don't think I can lift it. Well, I had to cut it in half, more or less, because I just couldn't lift it out of there, and it's hot outside. I have no idea how I was working in the shop before I put air conditioning in it just a couple weeks ago. I had a few more screws loose, I guess. For those of you wondering what I'm doing, the jetpack on the back of this thing, this is what I'm gonna try to build. And now I'm gonna use this tank and this concrete mixer, and hopefully I can build something that resembles the Batmobile jetpack or turbine or whatever you want to call it. I don't know. I'm calling it a jetpack. And down on the bottom where it has that cutout, I think that pipe, this little one sticking off the end here, might be exactly what I need. So we'll see. Looks good. Now I gotta get it welded in there. It turned out pretty good, y'all. Check it out. I do plan to do a little bit of body work to it and try to get this thing to kind of like taper down a little smoother. Overall though, looks pretty dang good for a couple chopped up propane tanks. So today's project, I worked on something I've been holding off on for a long time. The hood or the roof, whatever you want to call it, it would open, but there was a really big gap and I wanted to seal it up a little bit better, make it look a little bit more legit. So I did. It was kind of a pain, but it's still not, I'm not 100% happy with it. I'll give it some more time and effort later, but now you can see the gap is a lot tighter. When it opens up, it kind of, the back part of it now tilts down underneath, where before just a big gap here and it just didn't look right. It irritated me. That part right there took me a long time to figure out, and like I said, it's still not perfect yet, but it's getting there, and it's way better than what I had before. So I don't know, we're getting there with that. I'm all about like the small details. So if it has struts on the front of the car, we have to put little struts on it. And right here you can kind of see what I'm working on. So we're gonna install those two right there. Hopefully I'll be able to do that fairly easy. Cheap struts off of Amazon. They're basically the same thing that's in the movie. We're gonna get them mounted up on my car. Currently working on building the wheels. I've got, I guess the wheel centers, I don't know exactly what you want to call them. Guards, I don't know. They're protectors, reinforcers, I don't know what you want to call them. Just to make the look of the wheel of the car. I'm starting to work on that now. Got several pieces, playing with some different bends and stuff, and gonna try to make my best replica I can. I actually have an 8-bolt rear end in this thing off of like a dually box truck, as seen in part 1. The cars out of the movie, they only have a 5-bolt, so mine is not gonna look exactly the same no matter what I do, but I'm gonna do my best to make it look like the ones in the movie, but with an 8-bolt. Couple things that I'm working on today, one being this little plate here. I don't know what you want to call it. It's just kind of a cool factor thing, I think. The movie car actually has a thick piece of aluminum right here that's been machined. Well, I don't have any CNCs in here, so I am cutting it out of flat metal like this, and then I'm scribing it and bending the ends up. And after I get it all done, I weld it up, grind it down, and it looks pretty dang good. Besides that, I've moved on to the wheels. Check these out. They're pretty sweet. I still have a little bit more to add. I'm gonna add the bolts that go around on the outside, but yeah, turned out pretty slick. The back turned out freaking awesome. And the cool part is too, when I put the onboard air on, this stuff will actually work. I don't plan to put air on it immediately. I want to get it all welded, grinded down, bodywork done, painted, all that stuff. And then I can, I can add some of that fancy stuff.
Okay, let's go.
So I'm drilling out the holes for the replica wheels. The wheels on the car have some bolts here in this, in this reinforcement ring here, this protective ring, bead protector. I'm not sure which one to call it, valve stem protector. But I'm going back and forth on, do I like the 1/4 inch bolts or the 3/8 bolts? I think I'm gonna go with the 3/8 because it's a big, beefy tire and wheel. But these aren't actually gonna do anything. This wheel, this protector doesn't really do anything either other than look good, but small details like this makes a big difference. I'm getting so close to being ready for paint, guys. So close. My hands are still shaking. I've been grinding nonstop on this thing, getting it ready. Check out the front armor, man. It turned out freaking awesome. I didn't have this piece made yet, just got it on, turned out pretty slick. It's all bolted on like the one that's in the movie. These pieces turned out okay. I'm actually thinking I'm gonna have those machined. For now, they're fine, they'll work, but I do think that would be a nice upgrade to have those machined, so those points are really nice and sharp. So the next major thing that I know I need to do is actually change out some of my hydraulic fitting lines. Every time I drive this thing, it's been leaking hydraulic fluid because I have the factory hydraulic, like power steering pump reservoir. And anyways, my fittings don't really work on it. So I'm gonna put on this aftermarket one, get rid of the crappy plastic stock one on there. And then all my fittings should fit up just fine and we should have no more leaking. Next step is gonna be, I'm gonna start tearing it down for paint. Once I get a bunch of the armor off, those fittings will be way easier to reach, way easier to install. And I just think that it needs to be torn apart anyways for paint, so I might as well do that one last time before it goes back together. But check it out, guys, it's finally at that time. I know it only seems to you guys like it hasn't been that long, but it's been, 3.5, 4 months of just me basically nonstop on this thing. So I'm happy to see it here. So let's get this thing torn down like my wife on a Saturday night at the casino. I'm not sure if you guys have seen some of the engravings that I do in the razor doors. I've been working on some. They're turning out really cool. This chick right here, pretty cool. And then this one over here. Anyways, usually I can just cut it right off there with my engraver, but those have like multiple layers of paint or multiple layers of powder. I don't know, they're absolute nightmares. So I took a break on those and I'm jumping over on the Batmobile and some stuff because these little gas caps came in. Whoops. These, because the movie car, it has multiple fuel tanks in it, or at least it looks like it does. So mine needs to look like it does. I don't really even have to open the book up. It's right there on the car. Boom, boom. So of course they couldn't do anything simple, right? And just mount this on there. That would be way too easy. It actually looks like it's countersunk in there a little bit. So this is my plan. I'm gonna basically make these big washers and just got a couple hole saw bits here, inner hole, the outer diameter. So I can sit them like this, which will allow them to sit down just a little bit. This is a super exaggerated version of it, but I'm gonna cut a piece of pipe and then weld it on there. Obviously I'll cut this out too, but then weld my washer at the bottom and then bolt my gas fitting thing, filler. So it'll look fairly similar to the one that's in the movie. I also got the wheels and tires all cleaned up and got a little bit of black paint on them so they look good. So I've been going around with acetone on everything, grinding off some of the paint using some rust remover from Croyle. Check this out. This stuff right here is incredible. After knocking off some of the rust and prepping the metal up, then I'm just hitting it with some farm, black spray paint, all the stuff underneath, just so it looks a little bit better, you know what I mean? That part of it, I'm not tearing it all the way down. I'm gonna paint it up the best that I can. And so far, it looks pretty dang good. And after all the armor and stuff's on, you really can't see it anyways. I'm more or less doing it just to preserve it for rust. Typically in all of my YouTube videos, I just stick to what I'm doing, right? Like Batmobile, I'll show you guys Batmobile. Well, I'm gonna start getting a little bit more into like vlogs incorporated, or to basically what I'm getting at is you guys have been asking me for some longer form content. Well, people who make long form don't just show good stuff the whole time, or don't just show one thing the whole time, I guess I'd say. To me, it's good stuff like, staying on topic and watching a video for what the title says. But in reality, I got to show you guys a little bit more of my just normal life. So anyways, I got to take my car to get some work done. I had a girl that worked for me, and she no longer works for me. But this was her car, that company vehicle, you might say. Well, she was in a tunnel car wash, and a truck drove through the side of it, and actually drove through the side of the tunnel car wash and hit the side of her car. It was crazy. Thankfully, she was okay, but the car's damaged. I've been needing to get it fixed, so I'm gonna take it to get it fixed. Maybe you're asking yourself, okay, cool, why are you telling us this? Well, I just wanted to give everybody a little friendly reminder. If you're in a car, do not take the diesel pumps. This is a gasoline car, so there's no reason for me to park over there where there is a diesel pump. I just thought I'd share that little bit of information for you. And if you're like, oh, I'll take whatever pump I want. Well, I mean, technically you can, but that does mean you're an asshole. A lot of the interior isn't exactly perfect. And SeaDeck is cool anyway, so I want to put some of it on the interior, cover up some of the imperfections, and then, also it'll be noise barrier, sound barrier. It'll look cool, and it just can't go wrong. It is kind of expensive, so I'm hoping I don't mess up a ton of it. But I did actually burn a little bit of it when I did a little welding in there, but oh well, it's part of it. But I got a couple different colors too, so I can kind of break it up a little bit. But yeah, wish me luck on it, because I don't want to buy a lot of this stuff. I got these little gas caps, and the movie car, it's a little bit like of a thicker panel, and therefore their gas caps are a little bit bigger, but these fit like proportionately. They're just slightly smaller than the ones in the movie cars. But anyway, turned out pretty slick. These will sit right in here. And the cool part is too, on the other side, on the driver's side, I think I'll be able to actually tie in one of them to my fuel cell. So you actually will put gas in it through here, which is kind of cool. This side isn't going to do anything. It just looks cool. So, but it turned out pretty slick. I'm happy with it. I've got a lot more done on the Batmobile since the last video. And you guys are always asking me, what can you not do? Well, I just found my kryptonite. And that is body work, man. Wow, I cannot do any filler work, any sanding, any of that stuff. I'm terrible at it. So fortunately, I got a guy that I used to work with at my old job before I went social media full time, who actually offered to help me with this. And him and his friend are, obviously, I'm compensating them for their work, but they're coming over when they have time, after hours and stuff like that on the weekends, and they're working on the body. It really is turning out awesome. All my imperfections, they're getting rid of them, and it's looking freaking awesome. I couldn't be happier with it so far, and it's only gonna get better as they go along. The little fuel doors, they turned out awesome. Got those done in like this bronze-ish gold looking color. They turned out pretty slick. Oh, and before I forget, I wanted to address this comment right here by Golden Eggs. Temu version of Lambo Jesus. I'm sure you're watching his videos. Well, first of all, pump the brakes right there before we go any further. No, I actually have never watched a Lambo Jesus video that I can think of. I do know who he is. I do know that he has one, seen some clips here and there, but no, never watched one of his videos that I can think of. I have seen the guy who built his, like some really old videos, seen some of those, but the majority of the references that I used when I built mine just came from a book, actually. I've referenced it many times in my previous videos as I built this. Then again, he had a Hollywood team build his. Exactly. I didn't want that. Not that I could afford it, and even if I could, I didn't want that. Whenever I set out to build this thing, I wanted to build a tumbler. I didn't want to pay somebody for one. I didn't want to buy one. I wanted to build one with my hands. By hand, no CNC equipment, no machines, no robots, no nothing. Not even a press brake. I bent every piece of metal on this thing by hand. It's better than the fiberglass ones. I'm glad you didn't make it small. I don't think it's better or worse than anyone or anybody else's tumblers. I set out to build one of these because I saw the car in the movie. I thought it was really cool. I knew that one day that I was gonna build one, and that's what I set out to do. I set out to build a tumbler by hand, by myself. I didn't hire anybody for anything other than a little bit of body filler. Other than that, I did everything on this thing. And that's what I set out to achieve. I didn't set out to build one like Lambo Jesus or better than Lambo Jesus or anybody Jesus. I guess all I'm getting at is thank you for the little bit of a compliment at the end of that comment. But regardless, my goal was not to make one like anybody or better than anybody. It was just for me to use my skill set that I developed over the last 15 years and build the best one that I could. Challenge myself, run into problems and figure them out myself. I screwed up many times whenever I built this thing and I had to cut stuff apart and do it again. And as weird as that sounds, that's what I enjoy. I enjoy not taking the easy road, figuring it out. It's just for me, it's just a little bit more of an accomplishment whenever somebody sees this thing or whenever I get to look at it and I just get to stand back and go, yeah, I made that thing. And if that to you, golden goose eggs, whatever your name was, I already forgot. If that to you is Temu, then I'm the Temuest of Temu. But I'm gonna be the Temuest driving my tumbler down the damn road. So anyways, something else that's pretty awesome, just like I said I was gonna do in one of my earlier tumbler videos, was this piece that bolts on right here. I made it out of sheet metal, and I just didn't love the way that it looks. The one on the movie car is clearly machined, and honestly was just taken away from the look a little bit. So I actually, this might come as a surprise to some of you guys because I built this whole thing by hand, and I actually like doing it that way because it's a little bit more of a challenge to me, but I actually own a machine shop. So I had the guys down there whip me up these plates, and those are gonna be a pretty cool addition right here on the side of the tumbler, after it's painted, of course, and these will be painted as well, but those are gonna be a nice little addition to the car. All right, so how I got this Connex right here coming through the wall, I got another one, and they dropped it off today. So I'm gonna take a little pause on the Batmobile. We're waiting on more paint for that. So I'm gonna go ahead and install this other Connex. Gonna cut a hole, but unfortunately, my luck always has it that I've got a water line right in the way. I've got electricity right in the way, so I've got to move all that stuff first. Then we'll cut a hole in it and move the Connex up here, give me more room to put some of this junk that I'm just always accumulating. So good news, I got the container in. Obviously it's not 100% complete, but it's looking pretty awesome. And I've got some parts back for the Batmobile. Obviously they're not done yet either. When everything is all done, it is gonna look a lot more like this satin color. And the Batmobile is looking pretty awesome, but hey, I think I'm gonna go ahead and cut part 3 or 4, whatever one this one is, we're gonna go ahead and cut it off right here. And you guys are just gonna have to wait to see this thing all assembled. Stay tuned if you guys wanna see that. Check this out, I am gonna show you this. This is too cool not to show you before I let you go. Look at that jetpack, boy. Not too bad for an old propane tank. Do me a huge favor, guys, like and subscribe if you wanna see more videos like this. And I've got actually some really big projects planned, so you're not gonna wanna miss out on that. And you're also not gonna miss out when this thing's complete and we reveal it. Speaking of revealing it, I plan on actually revealing this thing in Oklahoma at the PSE Expo, man. If you guys wanna see it in real life, check it out. Muskogee, Oklahoma. You're not gonna wanna miss it. Hey, we'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.